Some TikTokers unknowingly filmed their last moments alive, shocking, heartbreaking, and haunting videos that turned ordinary days into tragedy. 1. Linda Michelle Rogers, 12 years old, USA, 2018.
I'm gonna get ready for the NCA, National Cheerleaders Association, today. So I'm gonna start with here, turn on my lamp, because I don't want to turn on all of the lights.
This story of Linda Michelle Rogers shows how quickly life can change in an instant. And here's where it gets even more heartbreaking. Linda was just a 12-year-old sixth grader, buzzing with excitement for the All-Star National Cheerleading Championship in Dallas. On February 23, 2018, she woke up early, eager to get ready, and decided to capture every step of her morning on video. Her first clip showed her turning on a lamp in her room, explaining her cheer prep routine. She wanted to share how she was getting ready, showing her little rituals and routines. You could feel her joy, her innocence spilling out through the screen.
I would love to do some ponytail, straighten it, curl it, poof it, whatever. So
Here, when you see a spark. Her family's lawyer says the spark was the house filling up with natural gas.
In her second video, she was dressed in a sparkly red long-sleeve cheer top with one braid done and a flat iron in hand. She shared her prep routine again, chatting to the camera about her excitement for the day. You could see how thrilled she was. A simple morning for most of us was a big event for her. Then came the third clip. No sound, just this jittery time lapse of her pacing in front of the mirror, messing with her hair. It looked like any other boring afternoon, honestly. Then, out of nowhere, bam! She walks out of frame and a gas explosion rips her whole world apart. Her family did what anyone would do, rushing her to the hospital. It didn't matter. She didn't make it. The wild thing, her phone survived. So her family, just reeling, sits there watching those videos after the fact, basically reliving the worst day of their lives over and over. It's brutal. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around. A kid, goofing off, taking silly videos, and then, in a blink, everything's gone. Makes you realize how paper-thin life is, right? 1 minute you're brushing your hair, and the next minute, poof! I don't even know what I'd do if I were her family, seeing those last moments. Probably break down. Or maybe just sit there in shock, numb. What about you? Second, Brazil Chapecoense football team, Brazil 2016.
Vai começar a viagem aí, ó. Ô, Fole. Vai começar a viagem pra Colômbia aí, ó. Viadinho, Cabezinho, Fole. Acre, depois nós vamos pra onde, Cadu? Cubidia. É isso aí, galera. Vai começar agora. Bora. Aí, Xi, manda um alô aí pra galera. Agora vai sair, vai partir. Valeu. Josimito. É nóis.
All right, let's just pause for a second. This is where things hit like a punch to the gut. The Chapecoense squad? Yeah. Those guys were headed to Medellin, Colombia, totally amped for this huge cup final against Atlético Nacional. You could practically bottle the hype on that plane. Before they even got off the ground, a 32-year-old defender whipped out his phone, filming his teammates cracking jokes, grinning, and just buzzing for what they thought might be the biggest night of their lives. You look at that video and man, it just oozes hope. They're all there, wide-eyed and pumped, probably already picturing themselves lifting the trophy, and that's what makes it so damn chilling. These normal, happy moments right before everything went sideways. It's the kind of video fans would watch on replay and think, how is this even real? Then, barely after takeoff, disaster. The plane smashed into a mountainside near Medellin. Out of 77 people, only 6 made it out alive. 71 souls gone just like that. 19 players lost, 2 more are clinging on, and the poor goalkeeper, he lost a leg and almost lost the other. Absolute nightmare fuel. And here's the kicker. Atlético Nacional, the team they were supposed to play, straight up offered to give them the win. Out of sheer respect, sportsmanship, call it what you want. It was a gesture that left everyone in tears. Chapecoense declared champions, but honestly, who's celebrating? It felt more like a funeral than a trophy ceremony. Wild to think, a camera meant to catch a bunch of guys goofing around before a big game ended up recording the prelude to one of sport's darkest days. Fans, families, and everyone were left reeling. Have you ever seen joy flip to tragedy that fast? Makes you realize things can turn on a dime. 1 second you're dreaming, the next second the world's upside down. Life's weird like that. 3. Xiao Xiao C, 23 years old, China. One wrong step while chasing likes turned a popular TikToker's life into a tragic viral moment. Okay, buckle up, because this one gets dark fast. So there's this young woman, Xiao Xiao C, just 23, already crushing it on Douyin, which is China's TikTok, for those not in the know. We're talking 100,000 plus followers, people loving her for her dancing, her goofball energy, and her behind-the-scenes peeks at daily life. She was the type to light up a feed, you know. But here's the kicker. She wasn't just all glam and ring lights. Turns out she worked as a legit crane operator, like the heavy machinery kind. One day, after clocking out, she hops on a massive 160-ton crane and decides to go live. Just her vibing, showing off some dance moves and chatting with her fans. And then, bam! One wrong step and she slips, falls, down, gone. Phone still in her hand. The live stream just kept rolling. Honestly, it's gut-wrenching. What's even more messed up? People watching thought it had to be some wild stunt, like she was doing it for the clout or whatever, but nope. Investigators checked it out, and it was just a brutal, senseless accident. She wasn't trying to go viral with some dare. She just made a mistake at the worst possible moment. It's one of those stories that just sticks with you, right? Like, there's this razor-thin edge between sharing cool stuff online and risking it all for a few likes. Sometimes chasing those views can turn real life into a nightmare. Kinda makes you wonder, if you were watching that live stream, would you have freaked out, tried to warn her, or just sat there, paralyzed, not realizing what was about to happen? Wild. 4. Gils, 16 to 18 years old, Canada, 2020 to 2023.
I'd like to make a little series called maybe like bucket list series. I'm gonna go out and do a bunch of stuff that I've always wanted to do. You know, I'm not sure what yet. You know, maybe skydiving or, you know, just stuff along those lines.
And here's where it gets deeply inspiring. Gils was just 16 when he was diagnosed with a rare soft tissue cancer called rhabdomyosarcoma. The disease had tumors in his prostate and holes in his lungs, and 2 years later, doctors declared it terminal. Most would have felt defeated, but Harrison decided to take control of the story he could still tell. He created a TikTok account to document his life and pursue a personal bucket list. His goal? Live every damn day like it's your last. That's basically how Harrison rolled. Even when life handed him the worst possible news, people flocked to his side online, flooding his feed with love and all those little virtual high fives. The guy didn't waste a second. Skydiving. Check. Ice skating. Yep. He chased every thrill he could, proving that, yeah, even with a terminal diagnosis hanging over your head, you can still grab those moments of pure joy. But hold up, it wasn't all wild adventures and Instagrammable sunsets. The dark stuff landed hard. Months hooked up to chemo and radiation. Some days were better, but the fight just dragged on. Didn't matter though. Harrison kept posting, letting everyone in, and showing the messy, rough bits along with the wins. When he hit 18, he didn't hide away. He threw a birthday bash, online and off, just soaking up all that love from family and followers. Then came 2023. Harrison dropped his last video.
The chances of me going home, very slim. So I'll be in the hospital for probably the remainder of whatever time I got left. Pray for me and my family. It's been a great ride with you guys on the bucket list. I love you guys. Thank you for all the support throughout everything.
Picture this, hospital bed, wires everywhere, but he's still got that calm, honest vibe, just thanking everyone for sticking with him. Not sugarcoating anything. He knew what was coming. Not long after, surrounded by family, he slipped away. Peaceful, if there's any comfort in that. What's wild is how his story blurs the line between social media and the real raw stuff. You get the highs, the gut punch lows, and everything in between, all out there for the world to see. Harrison's life, short but damn bright, reminds you that even when things are falling apart, you can still face it with guts, heart, and maybe a little hope. 5. Felicia Kononchuk, 9 years old, Russia, 2021.
Сейчас жесть история. У нас там сосед, он пьяный. Он, короче, стучится на дверь, всю ломает нафиг. Он уже несколько минут здесь стоит, стучится, орёт, матерится. Я просто вне страха.
A simple knock on the door turned a 9-year-old TikToker's day into an unimaginable nightmare. And here's where it takes an utterly shocking turn. Felicia Kononchuk lived in Chelyabinsk, Russia, with her parents and younger brother. At just 9 years old, she loved TikTok, sharing fun, child-friendly content with her small but growing audience. She was full of life, innocence, and curiosity, exactly what makes this story so heartbreaking. On February 17th, 2021, Felicia was home alone with her 4-year-old brother when she heard loud, aggressive knocks on the door. Unlike many children, she immediately recognized the danger. Quick thinking and frightened, she hid under the bed and began recording the incident on TikTok, trying to alert friends and capture what was happening. And just when it seemed she might wait it out safely, the drunk neighbor, Vasily Dunits, 33, kept pounding on the door, shouting abusive words. Her friend Haley noticed Felicia's TikTok plea and knew something was wrong. Felicia, desperate for safety, attempted to leave the apartment, hoping to meet a friend or her father, who had briefly stepped out. But the moment she slid the door open, Vasily fired multiple shots from a 12-caliber hunting rifle. Felicia fell to the ground bleeding, and the horror of the situation escalated in seconds. Her father just stares away, heard the gunfire, and rushed to her side, only to hear her last words, "Dad, I've been killed." She didn't survive. The motive? A petty annoyance over noise in the apartment. A reason so small, yet it ended a young life. Felicia's story highlights the extreme dangers that can lurk in everyday situations, the vulnerability of children, and the tragic cruelty of random violence. Watching her TikTok footage later, viewers could only feel a mix of sorrow and disbelief. A simple online moment meant to connect with friends became her final record, immortalizing her last seconds in a way both chilling and heartbreaking. These stories remind us that life is unpredictable, even for those capturing every moment online. Social media can connect us, but it also exposes vulnerabilities. Always prioritize safety, cherish your loved ones, and remember life's true value goes beyond likes and views. If you felt this, like, share, and subscribe for more.